love you too. It's gonna be great.
Yes.
Have fun with your people.
Thank you, my love.
You're welcome. I might peek in, but I think I'm gonna try to do something.
Okay. Have fun.
Something. I will. Thank you.
Let's get some music up in here. Welcome, welcome. Let me turn that over there. There we go. Hello. Hi, Arwen. How you doing? I am just trying to find something for us to listen to for the next however long. This might be nice. Maybe this. I heard you as fast as I can. I love that. Hello. Hi, Aquarius. How are you? I'm just trying to find some music right now, guys. Something relaxing, but not... Oh, that's campfire stuff now. Let's try this one. There's like a bunch of different ones here. Like, I don't want y'all falling asleep. Let's find more like this. Let's try... I probably should have had this ready beforehand, but I love the new scenery. Awesome, thank you. You know, we're all mad here, right? Hi, Skills, how you doing? It's good to see you. I'm doing fantastic today. Really excited for today's live. A little nervous, to be honest, because it's the first time I'm doing this, but it's going to be a lot of fun. This is not the music that I'm looking for at all. Oh, this one might be good. Carmela, how you doing? Hi, Kristen, welcome. I hope that's all the talking that we're gonna have with this thing.
Leave a rate if you had a great night's sleep.
You had a great
To
night's
unlock the ad-free version of the show, simply click the link in the description. There will be no
Thank you. Okay, there's already too much talking in this. I'm worried that it's gonna be talking.
sleep well.
Maybe this one. The other one seemed like it was okay. Yeah, this one, I think this is okay. Just turn that up a little bit. There we go. Fantastic. So, hello. Love from Luke, how you doing? So today we're gonna be doing our very first satsang, and I decided to call it the satsang because if any of you are interested in what that means, I would highly recommend for you to go and look that up. Basically, it is a spiritual gathering where people study the truth as what it means to them. And so what I'm really hoping is to attract those that are at a similar vibration to me and my belief system, or adjacent at least. That would be nice too. Anybody that is basically wanting to have relief would be similar to the vibration that I'm looking for today. So anyway, so I felt like Satsang was like perfect. Annie actually came up with it. Hi Heather, happy Sunday. Shane, how you doing? Rebecca, I saw, yes, hello. Bye hippie, how are you today? Yep, so I figured that would be like the best way to describe this, and my intention here is to create a space where people can come in and feel welcome, togetherness, and to hopefully meet friends and maybe get some good messages. If nothing else, some relaxation. And of course, today we're going to be reading from the Game of Life. So if any of you happen to have this book with you, you can follow along. We're going to be starting at the very beginning, the game, where she explains, Florence Scovel Shinn basically outlines that life is a game. And if you play it like a game, you're going to have a lot better of a time. It's your choice whether you see this world as an exciting adventure or a land full of suffering. Technically, it's both. But what you turn your attention to will become your reality. Arwen, I felt the same way. I don't see anybody doing this kind of thing either. So I felt like, why not? Why not? You know, let me open up a space and see if anybody would be interested in coming and hanging out. Basically, I just wanted to start off by saying hello to everybody and kind of explaining what I intend with this, because it is the very first one, and I definitely plan on doing this every single Sunday. I figure Sunday's the best day, right? I mean, it's church day. I wouldn't necessarily call this church, but it kind of has elements of that in it, which is nice. And I think that the spiritual community is kind of lacking that gathering of just peace, harmony, and togetherness in that way. And so I just wanted to provide that. And of course, share my gift with some messages right from Source's mouth. Whoever would like to come through. I always call in Archangel Michael first for strength and belief. He definitely helps me feel strong in my abilities and to hopefully keep ego at bay. And of course, hold space for us. He's very good at doing that. And then I call in Archangel, excuse it's so funny that my voice would do that. Archangel Gabriel for communication. And it's just so funny that my voice is doing this as I'm talking about him. So clearly I do need him. Clearly I need him today. And it's funny because I come on here and I do this stuff all the time. But today just feels a little bit different to me. This is something that's very close to my heart. And I am so excited to share it with you guys. So I will call in those two angels. And then I will call in Jesus, because he is the strongest and easiest energy for me to channel, and he has expressed an interest in coming in every Sunday for us, just to help us through any deconditioning that we need to do with him on this day. I think a lot of people struggle with religious practices from a religious background that has been toxic. So today, that is what today is for. Today is for reconnection and with yourself, with your higher self, with your spirituality, all that wonderful, wonderful stuff. Lady Morgana, how are you? I feel like there was an energetic shift yesterday. Absolutely. I've been feeling it for the last, I would say since like Wednesday or Thursday. I have been feeling this sort of like build up. And today definitely feels way different than yesterday did. You just woke up from a nap? That's nice. You've been feeling the shift too. Yeah. Yep. So, of course, it would be fitting for Spirit to lead me to do something like this right after a major shift that the collective is having. It just doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, you figure that it would, but warm, fuzzy, happy energy. I feel that too. I had this like crazy neck problem for the last 3-4 days. And today it lifted weirdly. It just was gone. It's still, I mean, it's still there just a tiny bit, but like nothing. It's like normal aches and pains at this point. I slept more this week alone than I did last month. Yeah. I would agree with that too. I would agree with that too. 111, guys. Okay. So, I also have these cards here. I'll probably end up taking these out later on. The Game of Life has oracle cards. I don't know if you guys were aware of that, affirmation and inspiration cards. But I was using these for a while as like, what message do I need from this book right now? And it actually came out really well. So I might actually read that at the end. It's a really good message. You too? Wow, Rebecca, that's crazy. Hi, Erin. Thank you so much for commenting. Today I will not be doing any readings. I'm just doing channelings. We're doing studying from the Game of Life. I'm going to try to get through the first chapter, but I do have dyslexia. And today is my first time doing this, so we're going to see how far through we get. And then, and have discussions afterwards, some spiritual conversations. Thank you so much for the gifter badge thing, Kendra. What did you say? Bye, hippie. Felt so drained last month, but I have been accepting rest, loving this shift. I'm still struggling with accepting rest, and I would wager a guess that Rebecca's having that same problem if she had the same thing happen to her that happened to me. I had a reading last night. I don't know if any of you watched the White Feather Tarot, but I absolutely love her on YouTube. And there was a reading that I had gotten from her last night, and the entire thing was about rest. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't need to rest. So yeah, there's that. Okay, might as well get into it and see where we are taken with these angels and Jesus and anybody else that feels like coming in, of course. Well, dyslexia is a, what do you call that? Like sometimes it's a symptom or a byproduct of autism or ADHD, or the combination of the two, which I have. So in childhood, it should have been a clear indicator. I actually didn't know that I had dyslexia until 6th grade. The 80s were wild. I'm just telling you that. Okay. Without further ado, let's get into it. I feel that the angels and everybody else on the other side are excited to come through. So if you are in a nice comfortable area, I would suggest that you start relaxing. You have dyslexia too? Yeah. I think it's common for that. The energy feels, it feels like excitement. It feels like joy. They want me to use the word righteousness, but I feel like what they mean when they say that word righteousness is on your right path, like in alignment. Righteousness has nothing to do with whether you're a good or a bad person, whether you do good or bad things. And of course, good and bad is relative. Whether you're making good choices for yourself, whether you're making not great choices for yourself, none of that has to do with righteousness. Righteousness is about being in alignment. And that's coming, I'm assuming, from Jesus as well, but could be the angels too. That's really interesting insight. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for that. Patience, hi. Good afternoon. All is good and well. I feel like a bunch of excited little birds happily twittering. Yes. Yes. And you guys feel free to talk to each other. I will not feel disrespected at all if while I'm channeling you guys are talking, if you guys are having conversations even while I'm reading. When we're talking about the book though, I would like it to stay more towards the book, but this is an open, safe space for anybody that needs to speak on anything spiritual. So that's what it is. And just in case anybody here that is not able to stay the whole time that I'm live today, I will be putting this on YouTube. Every week I will put this on YouTube so that anybody that has missed it will be able to at least enjoy it afterwards. So that will be there as well. Hi, Kara. How you doing? How long will this be? I am not sure. I'm not sure. I set the live for 2 hours, but who knows? Sending 8s. I love that. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and start by calling in Archangel Michael. Now, if anybody has been in my lives before, excuse me, burp for release. If anybody has been in my lives before, you know how I usually call in the angels. But if you're brand new, I would like to help you with that, how I call in the angels. And so the way that I do it is I will take a nice deep breath. I will say whoever it is. So for instance, we're starting with Archangel Michael. I say, Archangel Michael, I call upon you now. And then I blow all of the air out of my lungs. And when I breathe in again, I am breathing in the essence of whoever it is that I've just called in. And it's just forming a connection. It's not allowing this non-physical energy to take over my body if they so choose. Any of those energies must have your permission and consent to do that. And the minute that you don't consent, they actually do have to leave immediately, that very second. And anybody that channels will tell you that. So, if you feel called to join, then this is how I do it. If you have a different way of doing it, feel free to do that. And so like I said, we're going to start with Michael and see what Michael has for us today. Okay, nice deep breath in. Archangel Michael, I call upon you now. Breathe in his essence. Ooh, he literally just dropped right down, right behind me. And usually what he does for me, he's doing for every one of us. And so that is the image that I'm seeing, is that he's dropping right down behind every single person that wishes to connect with his energy. And his wingspan is like ridiculous. They're huge. And it's like he's just wrapping them around the circle here today, keeping us, I don't want to say safe, because we're always safe, we're always protected, but it's more like he is protecting us from distraction. And so if this intention is something that you align with, if you wish to have separation from distraction during this session, during this live session, during this experience today, that is what he would offer. And if you do not want that, if you need distraction, then that's fine too. He's just offering it to anybody that wishes to have that. I also see him touching the very top middle of my head. And so he's offering this to everyone else as well. And it's really interesting because I see him taking his finger and he's just boop, like that. And it's sort of like he's pushing a button, and then like I could see all of this light coming out of the top of my head, out of my crown, and sort of reaching up into the non-physical and making that connection. And so he's just opening up that channel for anybody that would like to have an open channel today to connect with the non-physical, with your higher self, with whatever is in your highest and best good, of course. And that is what he intends by opening up the crown chakra today. For me personally, it's for channeling. So thank you, Archangel Michael, so much for your assistance here today. We all do appreciate you and love you very much. And I'm gonna see if he has any messages. Yes, Lady Morgana, I love how connecting to the divine, it's similar and different all at the same time. Yes, I love that too. Okay. There are difficult times ahead, but there have been difficult times before. And difficulty is not something that human beings are meant to escape. Pain and uncomfortability, it is part of your existence. It's guaranteed by Source, by the universe. But also is joy. And so just because difficult times are ahead does not mean that there will be a lack of excitement, a lack of adventure, a lack of joy. That is a misconception by your people. Did you know that you can experience pain and joy at the same time? It's possible. Pain is inevitable. But you choose to turn away from joy when you are in pain. It's not necessary. It takes practice, of course, especially with the conditioning of your people, of your kind in this time. You are conditioned to focus on pain and uncomfortability and keep it on your back. Pain is fleeting, uncomfortability is fleeting, but you choose to keep it around your neck, like chains. You don't have to. You can be in love and in pain at the same time. Just know this, it is your choice. Many don't know this, but it is true. And I am not saying that it's easy to do. You must overcome your natural conditioning that has been given to you by your parents, by your loved ones, by your media, by your government, by literally everyone. And so this is going to be difficult for you to do, but definitely not impossible. Not by a long shot. Reaching out for joy and love and at least peace during pain and uncomfortability is always at hand, if you would simply turn your head and see it. It's important for you to turn away from pain, for you to turn away from uncomfortability that is not your own. It's strange how you all look at pain all the time. You choose it, often over joy. But I wish to remind you that this is always a choice. Free will. Your free will let you stay in pain as often as you'd like. Some of you actually do like it, and that is part of your path. And others of you despise it so much that you resist it. But in your resistance of it, you gain more. All I am offering for you is to simply look away. Look away. It's not selfish. It's not unsympathetic. You cannot help others if you are in pain with them. It's not possible. You can only help others by offering love and joy from your place of love and joy. And let me tell you this, if they are triggered by your love and joy, you have done your job. You have done your job. Triggering them, making them feel upset over your joy is the very first step at them noticing what they're doing to themselves. And yet this trigger of others makes you feel uncomfortable. Why? Why? Please ask yourself why. Is it genuine or is it conditioning? We would never be upset over triggering any of you out of pain and suffering. Never. We enjoy when you feel more angry or frustrated because you are getting better. And so please, I hope that you can hear this message, that it is a choice. Hard as it may be, it is still a choice. And I am always here to help you find it. If you wish to look away, I will show you how. You can call me in just as you have done today. And I would love nothing more than to help. Wow. That is so amazing. Thank you so much, Michael. Wow. Thank you so much for that. It's so weird because I could feel him in my chest. It felt like, you know, when you are out in the cold and you breathe in the cold and it has that sort of sharpness here. It felt like that. It felt like a sharp feeling, but it wasn't painful. It's just more like the pressure of that rather than the sharpness. So interesting. So I think inside of me personally, I definitely need to do a lot of healing around that message. That was intense. Definitely gonna have to listen to that one again. Holy crap. That was pretty amazing. I needed to hear that today more than ever. I'm so happy to offer that to you, to give you some peace through Michael, through that. This had me a bit emotional at the end. Yeah, it was really beautiful. That was really beautiful. Thank you so much, Michael. I mean, and it's true. We do choose suffering. We choose to look at it all the time. I mean, even scrolling on TikTok, think about it. Or even YouTube. Sometimes it comes to us randomly too. But I think when it comes to us, it's to show us, it's the mirror of what you are turning your attention to. What are you choosing to see? What are you choosing to participate in? Emma, welcome. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I definitely needed to hear that. I definitely needed to hear that. You were deeply intense. Wow, thank you, Aquarius. Yeah, the channelings that I'm doing are getting a lot easier, I would say. Okay, all right. Gabriel's tapping on my shoulder and he's saying it's time. So it's my first time here, so glad I stayed. I'm glad you stayed too. I'm glad you stayed too. Every Sunday I'm going to be doing this, so. I had a card with the mirror. I am always not sure what the meaning is. The mirror is a reflection of what you're doing to yourself. Always. It could be somebody that you are dealing with. It could be something that you're consuming, like media or even gossip. All of it is a reflection. Hello, Chantel. Are you answering questions from people? We're having spiritual discussion, so in that vein, yes. But nothing personal, like no psychic readings today. I will be doing those later on tonight, though. Alex, thank you for commenting, but unfortunately I'm not doing any psychic readings at this time. I will be doing those tonight. All right, so let's get into it. I can feel Gabriel chomping at the bit. All right. So we're going to call in Gabriel just the same way that we called in Michael. If you wish to participate, please feel free to follow along with me. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in. Archangel Gabriel, I call upon you now. Breathe in his essence. He always makes me laugh when he comes in. I don't know if anybody else has this experience, but Gabriel always has like this really goofy, silly energy when he comes in. I feel like there's this feeling of neurodivergence with Gabriel. And I think it's that he's indicating that it's not that he prefers those people. I feel like he has a maybe an affinity for them, like feeling, especially in our time, it's more difficult for us to exist. And we always struggle with communication, of course. And so I think that Gabriel comes to people with neurodivergence quite a bit to assist with that. Sorry, there was a call coming through on the iPad. That's why the music stopped for a moment. Okay. So right now what he's doing is it's so interesting. Like he's pulling this sort of like energy out of the ears. And it almost looks like wax, sort of, but like I can tell that it's energy. And so he's just kind of like swirling this and just like pulling it out, pulling it out, pulling it out, swirling, pulling, swirling, pulling. And he's just continuing this sort of motion. And it's sort of like this energetic gunk that I'm seeing coming out. And this is definitely something that he wants to deliver to anybody that is interested in having that sort of healing. It feels like a healing of the ears, of the understanding, to be able to hear and listen to your guides, your higher self, source. And it's just like, he's like, this is like never ending ribbon of, you know, like those comedians that keep pulling the ribbon out. It's sort of like that type of energy. And of course he's making a joke, but also kind of serious. A lot of us have a lot of static in our receptors in our ears. Now, this is not to say that you will be able to hear them like you hear people, is what Gabriel's saying. This is to have an understanding of what's coming to you from your guides, angels, and your higher self. Excuse me. And I feel like it's just, he just wants to lift some of the gunk. He wants to lift some of that inability to hear. So if you have been wanting to have a better connection with your guides, with your higher self, then this would be the healing for you from Gabriel. I'm going to see what Gabriel has for us today. And I can feel Jesus. He's just sitting there. I'm waiting. Don't forget about me. Gabriel, do you have anything that you would like to offer? I do. The communication that you believe that you will have with your higher self, with me, with any of us, it's not what you imagine, and is definitely not what you see in your TV and movies at all. And I want you to understand that some of this is out of ignorance and some of this is out of purpose, to mislead you in what it is to have a true and real connection with your higher self and with your spirit guides, with us as the angels. You need to know that it is so much more subtle than you will see in media. There are even people who are in your media that make it seem so much grander than what it really is. And of course, they don't explain what it is that they're doing, but that's not part of their purpose. And so I don't wish for you to be upset or resentful of those people. They are living out their purpose. But to be aware that not everything you see with your eyes or hear with your ears is real. There is a lot of props, as you all use that word, props, in your media. And so I wish for you to use discernment. And of course, if you are concerned with this, I would always lend a helping hand at discernment. And the way in which you feel us is through your heart, through your physical body, through your thoughts, through your imagination. We are non-physical, so we cannot use physical means to get to you, can we? We must use what we have at our fingertips. And so your imagination is non-physical just as we are. It is the gateway for us to come in. It is the doorway. If you wish to let us in, all you must do is imagine, and we will step through that door and give you the rest. You just must start. Allow yourself to start. And of course, it is in your conditioning as well, to not believe yourself, to not trust your intuition and not trust what it is that you feel in your body. All of that is something that is quite literally demonized in your societies. But thankfully, there is a grand movement at this time to regain the powers of your intuition, to feel your body again, to feel your emotions, to allow your mind to run free and rampant without chains, without worry about what thought means. Thought is just thought. It has no meaning unless you give it meaning. It's not that serious, I promise you. Taking your spiritual practice seriously is important, but taking it too seriously is also a detriment. Please, I implore you to have fun. Be like a child. The saying that Jesus loves the little children is true because they hear him so easily. They hear us so easily without worry of what their mind is doing. They have no chains. They have created no boxes inside of their mind where they stuff all of the things that they are displeased with. And so I ask for you all to be more childlike when you wish to speak to us, and we will be there. We are always right on the other side of that door, and all of you are looking for the door, but you're never looking in the right spot. At times, of course, you do stumble upon it, and we slide right through. But then once you realize what's happening subconsciously, your conscious mind has a little freak out and shuts the door on us. This is okay, of course. It is a practice. It is a practice to figure out where this door is and to keep it open. And we have endless, enormous patience for all of you to do this, to find the door, to keep the door open. And like I said, it is not easy. Your society makes it very difficult for mostly the reasons that Michael was just talking about. And of course, I am always here to help you to find the door and keep it open. But you have to let me in. Or any of my kind, that is. Anyone non-physical. If you have a loved one that has passed that you wish to connect with, they will help you find the door and keep it open. If there is another deity that you connect with and you feel resonance with, you feel home with that particular deity, please, they wish to help you as well. And there is no right or wrong when it comes to this. It is subtle, but over time it will become greater and louder and way more exciting. And so I wish for you to let yourself off the hook. Let yourself practice. Think of it as a brand new muscle you didn't know that you had inside of your body, and now all of a sudden you want to use it. That thing is atrophy. It takes time to build it up. It takes time for it to be able to move swiftly and with agility. So patience is very much required, more on your end than anyone else's. And so we will be here, patiently waiting on the other side of the door for you when you're ready. With love. Wow, their energies are so strong today. This is so insane. Wow. Rebecca, thank you so much for putting that in the chat. I appreciate that. I think most of these... DJ Magic, how you doing? I just went through a horrible breakup. and I feel like I'm so lost. I'm so sorry that that happened to you. Well, we're having Soul Family Day, so this is probably a good place for you to be. That one was really good. I've never heard of them speak of it that way, and I really loved that. The way that Gabriel explained the door, the way that Gabriel explained how to connect better with them was really beautiful. I loved that. And if you're holding on to pain and suffering, it makes it a lot harder for us to hear them. And that's really what he was talking about there as well. That if you are turning towards uncomfortability, pain, even fear, it's going to be a lot harder to connect, because they exist over with joy and love and acceptance and patience. And so it definitely is a practice, and it's definitely something that you have to have patience for. It's just like anything else that you're learning. If you want to learn how to paint, if you want to learn how to run cross country, if you want to learn how to play soccer or football, if you want to be a gymnast, like, you have to be ready to fail a lot before you get to a place where you feel comfortable and can stretch. But it's absolutely worthwhile. Absolutely. So I encourage anybody that is here today or watching the replay to sit with Gabriel and ask him to help you, because I know that he helped me greatly with my my abilities. I always in the beginning would call in Michael and Gabriel, and for a long time it was just me and Gabriel talking. It's such a beautiful thing. So I hope that you guys can enjoy that as well. All right, last but not least, we are going to call in the big guns. Coffee's gone. That's all right. Whew. Thank you guys so much for the shares and the likes and the follows. Where do I find my YouTube? It is actually in the link in the bio. I have my Jesus, yes, sweater vest. Yep, in his sweater vest. Baby Girl Potato, hello, how are you? Yes, Eternal Wonderland is the channel's name. Thank you, Arwen. Ems, thank you so much for joining. I'm doing well, okay, so let's go ahead and call in Jesus so we can get ourselves on track here. Okay, so I call him in the same exact way that I call the angels and everybody else. At first, I was trying to do it a little differently because of my own experience with religion. I grew up born-again Christian. And basically, he was like, don't you dare do that. I don't need anything different. First time here, friend shared. Elevated Olive. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming in. I hope you enjoy today's session. And I will be doing this every Sunday. And if you miss it, it will be on YouTube. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and call Jesus in. Okay. Nice deep breath in. Jesus, I call upon you now. Breathe in his essence. His energy is just like it. I feel like he would be such a fun friend. He's just a little bit of ridiculousness. He loves to be sarcastic, at least with me anyway. And I think that metaphors and sarcasm is littered in the book. And I think that's something that's misunderstood when people read the Bible, when people experience that. And of course, a lot of it is misrepresented. Some really key things were eliminated, not just whole books, but verses, chapters, phrases, things that were very important and integral to the teachings that he was doing and mankind. We are coming out of an age where power is king. Okay, I'm going to let him speak. When I was here, we were coming into a time where power was king. Gaining power, holding power over others. I was at the height of it in the beginning. And we are now coming out of that and into a time where integration of the higher self is at hand. In the future, you will not call what you do today as spirituality or a spiritual practice. It will just be a normal thing that everyone does. It will not be different or strange or something that you need to say that you believe. It will just be. It will be such a wonderful existence. And you all are here at the inception. What a wonderful thing. And of course, today especially, I wish to give each and every one of you unconditional love and peace. When energies collide in this way, it is difficult. It is difficult in the collective, and it is very difficult in the individual experience. I lived during a collide, and let me tell you, it was wild. But I would never have done it any other way. What an adventure. And so the old is not wanting to leave, and the new is wanting to come in. And this creates passions and fire, destruction in the most beautiful ways. And I implore you not to fear it. Please do not be afraid. Fear is a natural reaction to things that you don't understand or things that you cannot see. But I am here to let you know that you are living in a time of incredible adventure. And if you allow yourself to see it as such, you will have a much different experience. In my time, I had a much different experience than most people. If you read that book, it is littered with people who were afraid and hurting each other out of their fear. And I held my compassion, and I wish to help anyone who wishes for my help to hold their compassion as well. This is a very difficult time, but it is also a very beautiful time too. And just as the other two have said, it is all dependent on where you look, where you turn your head. You could even walk through the trenches as I did, help the sick, cure the weary with vibration, with your unconditional love vibration. When you show others that love is possible, and not just possible, but their birthright, they are meant to experience and have love and joy, not just from others, but especially for themselves, for yourself. That is why you're here. And in this difficult time, it shows where the love is and where it is not. It's very obvious to many of you where it is not. And sometimes you get stuck on pointing it out. Oh, no love there. Look, there's no love. And all you do is look where there is no love. Focus on pain and suffering and fear. And what you do is you draw that into your spirit, into your existence, into your body. This creates illness of the mind, of the body, and of the spirit. But if you choose to turn and focus on where there is love, there is so much love here. There is so much joy here. Just look that way. Turn your head, please. Your experience will be very different, and you will see this time as the adventure it is. Not just looking to the future and what it will be in times to come, but what it is now, what it is right now. If you look outside, you will see that energy reflected in nature. If you look hard, you will see it. If you sit out in it, you will see it. And the most important thing that I can offer you today for true love and peace is meditate on your body, on your heart, on your mind, and intend love to yourself. Find the places inside of you that turn away, that shy away from love, that feel unworthy of love and joy. You find those things that exist within you, and you love it. You show it love. Personify it in your mind, and you give that thing a huge hug and kiss and embrace, and watch it change. Watch it change from something dark into something light. It's magnificent, I promise. And you can do this over time. The weariness of time. Well, that is a discussion for another time. But today I wish to show you how to love yourself and show yourself joy and love over pain, suffering, and fear. Because you deserve it, you were born for it, and you absolutely can share it. And I will see you next time. Goodness. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, Jesus, for that message. Woo. Had a little tear come through at one point. I just love his energy. He's so amazing. Brenda, hi! That was exactly what I needed to hear. Oh, that's wonderful, Heather. How are you not exhausted? They give me so much energy when they come through. At first, it used to make me tired, but I think I've practiced enough that it's sort of like when you run. When you first start running, or even walking, if you haven't been walking a little bit makes you very tired. But after a while, if you keep at it, the walking becomes easier, the running becomes easier, and it actually starts giving you more energy than less. And that is exactly what channeling is like, or psychic ability of any kind. When you practice it, it's hard at first, but over time, it will be something that you look forward to doing because you know you're going to get more energy. That was so warming to the heart. Yes, I agree. This is what I keep telling people. The world will get better. Absolutely, Ems. Absolutely, 100%. We're just, the way that he showed it to me, it was sort of like, if you can imagine like the plate tectonics of the earth, but like if one was power, like gaining power, and the other one was acceptance and like connection with your higher self. And these things are just, right? And so when they hit, when anything collides, it creates destruction. And we are absolutely in a tower moment right now in our human existence. It's a crazy time. And he just was making these really beautiful correlations to his time and our time. It's very similar, just a lot more people, a lot more people this time. And obviously technology, being able to talk to anybody, anywhere, even this live here, anybody has the ability to see this. And that's definitely not something that they had back then. And so he only had his small ability to spread this message, but clearly it lasted a very long time. And even now, you can't have creation without destruction. Absolutely, Lady Morgana. Absolutely. Hi, Dee. How are you? It's good to see you. And for anybody that's coming in brand new, I will be having this live stream on YouTube. I plan on having it up by tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with that. But wow, those channels were so amazing. Thank you so much, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and Jesus, for those beautiful messages. Very, very powerful, very powerful information. And it felt like the theme today is about freedom. It's really about recognizing how you are holding yourself back by your version of reality. She's awesome. She read for me and channeled my mom. Oh, Dee, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much for that. I'm thankful too. Thank you guys for coming in and hanging out today. This is better than I had hoped for, to be honest. It really is. Okay, so yeah, those messages were all pretty much kind of in the same vein, but a little different, which was really fun. Michael, the practical, Gabriel, the silly, and Jesus, the compassionate. They're just wonderful. Makes me want Jesus to reincarnate. I just want to hug him. I know. Oh, I feel that way so deeply. I really do. I really do. But I think the closest thing to that is channeling. And when I channel him, I feel so close to him. I feel so connected. And definitely in a way that would not be possible if he was physically here. So I'm grateful that his energy is available to channel. He is in all of us, absolutely. Oh, bye, hippie. Thank you so much. I'm glad you found me too, Ems. I always say Jesus is my homeboy. I just have issues with the depiction of God and the traumas. Yes, I agree with you, Lady Morgana, and I think that's what he's trying really hard to dismantle that, and I'm all for that. I really am. I think that there's a way to experience his message in the pure form that it was meant to be, and I think a lot of people try to convey that in different ways. I mean, the book that we're going to be reading from today is in the vein of that, actually. Florence uses a lot of reference to the Bible, to Christianity, but in a spiritual way, which I just love it. I love it so much. Religious trauma irks me. But that's the power that Jesus was talking about. That was the hunger for power that is, it's honestly coming to an end. And a lot of times, and the way that they show me is like, when an enemy knows that they're being defeated, they pull out all of their biggest guns right at the end in hopes that they will be able to take back some of the ground that they've lost. But from what I've seen, from what I feel, it's just not possible. And I believe that the end times that they speak of are of the end of power and tyranny and oppression by the powers. It's the want for it to change. I am part of that change. We all are. Everybody here is, in our own way. And the more that we stick to loving ourselves, striving for understanding of others, understanding of pain caused by others, oppression. It is fear. It is fear. They're afraid that they are losing something that is important to them. But it's not anything that they ever truly had. It was never theirs. And so when people are afraid, they do crazy shit. They really do. And I believe that in Jesus's time, he had understanding and compassion for that, for the person, but he didn't have that level of compassion for people in power that were truly oppressing and lying, essentially, because the church had a lot of power in his time, and they used religion as a way of oppressing people. And look at where we are now, you know. And I do believe that we are coming into a time where there is always more enlightenment in our species as a whole. You look back every couple hundred years, there is more enlightenment, more compassion, more understanding, more intelligence even. And so I think sometimes there's this balance between intelligence, like science, math, facts, and intuition. And it kind of does this little teeter thing back and forth, right? And we've been in a time of logic, and we're coming into a time of intuition. And that's what I see. So I'm happy and excited for that. And I really hope that this happens in my lifetime, that I get to see it happen, the huge shift. But I may not. It's the age of Aquarius. We are all waking, yeah. But we always do. We always will. We will always be more enlightened. There's always more to be had. There's no end game to this. There's no end game. There's always new enlightenment to have, new intuition to have, new understanding to have, new intelligence to be had. So it's never ending. Yeah. This generation and the next are the game changers, so we will see the change. Even if not in my lifetime, I pray for my children's lives or my grandchildren's. Say it louder for the people in the back, yeah. Yes. I've actually seen it in astrology, where they show that Gen X, or not Gen X, Gen Z is here to, fuck shit up, basically. And then the alpha generation, they're the ones that kind of take all the broken pieces and make a plan to kind of fix what's damaged. And so it will be the generation after them that gets to enjoy that. So I don't know. That'll be my grandbabies, if I have any, of course. Anyway, so let's get into it. We're going to be reading from The Game of Life. Yep, and then there's the beta that comes in this year. Exactly. I love that. My kids' natal charts are like a battering ram of chaos and change leaders. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's the boomer generation that's really afraid of that. They're afraid of Gen Z. And I am in the middle of Gen X and millennial, and I am excited as hell for that generation. I love it. They are seriously like making a huge mess of politics. They're making a huge mess of our capitalism, and I'm here for it. I am here for it. Let's have the destruction. Y'all are doing it. And it's a beautiful thing. I just love it so much. I get excited when I hear about it. Like this last election was really fun to see what they did as a collective. It's so aggravating for me, but I'm trying so hard to just guide them and not trying to smash them. I know, into a mold they won't fit in. Yeah, no, I get that. I really do. Girl, I think I'm in love with you. Ems. I love that. Yes. It's good stuff. I'm here for it too. Ready for change. Yes, Heather. I love it. Okay. So if you guys happen to have this book, you may not have it, but we will be reading from this book for, I would say, at least the next few months. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get through it. It's not terribly long, but like, also I was telling you guys in the beginning, I have dyslexia. So we're going to see how long, how far into this I can get. But if you have this book, it's not terribly expensive on Amazon. I think it was, maybe like $8, but this is also on YouTube as an audiobook. So if you want to listen to the whole thing at a later time, highly recommend that. So this is The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. This book was written in the 1920s. The copyright here is 1925. So just about 100 years ago. And so that tells you it's all the same. It's all the same. The stuff we're going through is not any different than they went through 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. It's all the same. It's all the same. We're the same people. We just have different technology. That's it. And it makes us behave slightly differently, but overall, the choices that we make are still kind of similar. So in this book, she outlines what the game is and how to play it, obviously. But there's different things. So the chapters here, the first one is the game. Then it's the law of prosperity, the power of the word, the law of non-resistance, the law of karma, and the law of forgiveness. That's one chapter. Casting the burden or impressing the subconscious. That's a good one. I love that chapter. Another chapter is called love. Then intuition or guidance. Perfect self-expression or the divine design. I love that one too. That's another favorite. And then the last thing is denials and affirmations, which I don't know if I'm going to be reading from that because I think it's just stuff from the book itself. But we'll see when we get down to it. So I'm going to go ahead and read some, and then we can talk about it, and then read some and talk about it, and that's going to be my intention. And this is a learning experience because this is the very first time I'm doing this, so we're going to see. Let me get another sip of water here. Okay. The game. Most people consider life a battle, but it is not a battle. It is a game. It is a game, however, which cannot be played successfully without the knowledge of spiritual law. And the Old and the New Testaments give the rules of the game with wonderful clearness. Jesus Christ taught that it was a great game of giving and receiving. Now, this is a quote from the Bible. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This means that whatever man sends out in the world, in word or deed, will return to him. What he gives, he will receive. If he gives hate, he will receive hate. If he gives love, he will receive love. If he gives criticism, he will receive criticism. If he lies, he will be lied to. If he cheats, he will be cheated. We are taught also that the imaging faculty plays a leading part in the game of life. Here's another verse from the Bible. Keep thy heart, she puts in quotation or in parentheses, or imagination. Your heart is your imagination. With all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. That's Proverbs 4:23. And so when we don't follow our heart, things go wrong. And this is a message that I've heard over and over and over again from guides, spirits, basically everybody on the other side. If you're not following your heart, if you're not doing what's in your heart genuinely, you're going to have a shitty time. Just, that's the way it goes. And what she's talking about here in the first few paragraphs is life is a mirror. And so if you are, for instance, giving hate, the universe is going to reflect that back at you to show you what you're doing. When you give hate to other people, a lot of times it's because you hate yourself. If you give criticism to other people, it's because you're critical of yourself. If you are lying to other people, it's because you're lying to yourself. And so the universe is saying, stop doing that. Stop doing that to others. Stop doing it to yourself. And you will not, if you stop doing it to yourself, you won't receive it from others. If you stop doing it to other people, you'll stop receiving it as well. Excuse me. So if you give love to yourself and you give love out into the universe, that's what you will receive back. Then she says, this means that what man imagines, sooner or later externalizes in his affairs. And then she goes into an example, which I love that. This book is littered with examples from her. I know of a man who feared a certain disease. It was a very rare disease and difficult to get, but he pictured it continually and read about it until it manifested in his body, and he died, the victim of distorted imagination. So we see, to play successfully the game of life, we must train the imaging faculty, the imagination part of your brain. A person with an imaging faculty trained to imagine only good brings into his life every righteous. And that's what I said at the beginning. Jesus said righteousness is not about good or bad. It's about aligned or unaligned. Every righteous desire of his heart, he will bring into his life. Health, wealth, love, friends, perfect self-expression, his highest ideals or highest good. The imagination has been called the scissors of the mind, and it is ever cutting day by day. The pictures man sees there, and sooner or later he meets his own creations in his outer world. To train the imagination successfully, man must understand the workings of his mind. The Greeks said, know thyself. So if you don't know what it is that you're thinking, if you don't know what it is that you're consuming, if you don't have control over what impacts your brain, your mind, it's like a free-for-all. It's literally a free-for-all. Anything can happen in your reality. So if you're watching the news and they're talking about pain and suffering, you're going to experience pain and suffering. That will be your reality. So interesting. Gita, thank you for coming in. Hello. We're just reading from the book of the Game of Life. Sorry, not the Book of Life, the Game of Life. Hi, sweetheart. Let's see. There are 3 departments of the mind: the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious. The subconscious is simply power without direction. And this is where a lot of people make their decisions from. A lot of people do it on instinct. They don't think about what they're doing. They just do, right? Their subconscious rules their life. But the subconscious does not know what it's doing. It's literally just instinct. It is like steam or electricity, and it does what it is directed to do. It has no power of induction. It cannot direct. It cannot choose. So your subconscious is sort of like the energy of the universe. So when you choose things that are in your heart, that energy goes towards that way. When you don't choose things that are in your heart, that energy goes that way. And you bring more of it into your life. Whatever it is that you're looking at, whatever you're directing at, that's where you're going. Whatever man feels deeply or images. It's so weird that she says it this way. I guess it's like the times. Whatever man feels deeply or imagines clearly is impressed upon the subconscious mind and carried out in minutest detail. For example, a woman I know, when a child, always made believe she was a widow. She dressed up in black clothes and wore a long black veil, and people thought she was very clever and amusing. She grew up and married a man with whom she was deeply in love. In a short time, he died, and she wore black and a sweeping veil for many years. The picture of herself as a widow was impressed upon the subconscious mind, and in due time worked itself out regardless of the havoc created. Now I want to talk about this for a second, because this can elicit fear, and I don't want you guys to be afraid. These are subconscious imaginations over a long period of time. So if you're thinking about something that's detrimental or scary or harmful for a short period of time, it's not going to do anything. She is talking about these 2 people were obsessed with these negative experiences, and they would not turn away from it. They were so focused on their fear of that, or their curiosity of it, that they created that experience for themselves. So you have time to course correct yourself. Hey, bestie, how you doing? Okay. Let's see here. The conscious mind has been called mortal or carnal mind. It is the human mind and sees life as it appears to be. She has that in italics, appears to be. So, not necessarily how it is, but how we see it. That's really important. It sees death, disaster, sickness, poverty, and limitation of every kind. And it impresses the subconscious. This is exactly what the angels and Jesus were just talking about. They were just talking about this. Of course, they would have messages about this, because this is what we're doing today. The superconscious mind is the God mind within each man, and is the realm of perfect ideas. So this is your inspired action, your higher self, the God part of you that is always calling you to what is in your highest and best good. It is in the perfect pattern spoken of by Plato, the divine design. I guess that's a book. For there is a divine design for each person. And this is something that you create before you come in. And your divine design is extremely complicated. And when I say complicated, that is a very huge understatement. Your divine design has millions upon millions of different paths and options. Limitless almost, or seemingly to us anyway. Where was I? There is a place that you are to fill and no one else can fill. Something you are to do which no one else can do. This is your divine design. And that particular place that you're meant to fill can be multiple different things. It's a little bit more general than that, but I feel like for this purpose, she's just explaining the different minds right now. There is a perfect picture of this in the superconscious mind, your higher self. It usually flashes across the conscious as an unattainable ideal or goal. Something too good to be true. So that right there is like the best and most perfect line ever. Whatever you feel in your heart that is just like, that is too good to be true, it's too hard, I will never get that, totally unattainable, that is exactly the thing that you're meant to be doing. It is. It's kind of a weird game, right? Again, it's a game. Not necessarily a sick one, just, interesting, right? In reality, it is man's true destiny or destination flashed to him from the infinite intelligence, which is within himself and all of us, of course. Many people, however, are in ignorance of their true destinies and are striving for things and situations which do not belong to them and would only bring failure and dissatisfaction if attained. Stop calling you out. Melissa, you're funny. Now here, for example, a woman came to me and asked me to speak the word that she would marry a certain man with whom she was very much in love. She called him AB. This is one of my favorite examples. I replied that this would be a violation of spiritual law, but that I would speak the word for the right man, the divine selection, the man who belonged to her by divine right. I added, if AB is the right man, you can't lose him. And if he isn't, you will receive his equivalent. She saw AB frequently, but no headway was made in their friendship. One evening, she called and said, do you know, for the last week, AB hasn't seemed so wonderful to me. I replied, maybe he is not the divine selection. Another man may be the right one. Soon after that, she met another man who fell in love with her at once, and who said she was his ideal. In fact, he said all the things that she had always wished AB would say to her. She remarked, it was quite uncanny. She soon returned his love and lost all interest in AB. This shows the law of substitution. A right idea was substituted for a wrong one. Therefore, there was no loss or sacrifice involved. Now, the only problem that I feel like I have in this book is she uses the word right and wrong a lot. And I feel like it's just out of lack of having a different way of saying that, because there is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. It just is or is not, right? So again, I believe in this particular book, anytime that she uses the word right, she means in alignment. Jesus Christ said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." And he said, the kingdom was within man. The kingdom is the realm of the right ideas, or the divine pattern, or alignment. Jesus Christ taught that man's word played a leading part in the game of life. By your words ye are justified, and by your words ye are condemned. Now, the words aren't necessarily what you speak. When you speak something, it has power, it has weight, it has reality. You're not only just saying something, you are creating. When you speak, it is something that is real. Something you cannot take back. When you think a thought, it's just in your head. But when you speak it, it's so much more powerful. And so when we speak negatively about ourselves, when we speak negatively about our environment, our situation, you are creating more of that reality. And when you speak positive of yourself, positive of your situation, even if you don't necessarily completely believe it, you are creating energy. You are creating situation. You are creating experience that you cannot put back, right? So eventually you will believe it the more you say. Many people have brought disaster into their lives through idle words, not really paying attention to what you're saying, not really paying attention to how you're speaking to yourself. For example, a woman once asked me why her life was now one of poverty, of limitation. Formerly, she had a home, was surrounded by beautiful things, and had plenty of money. We found she had often tired of the management of her home and said repeatedly, "I'm sick and tired of things. I wish I lived in a trunk." She added, "Today I am living in that trunk." She had spoken herself into a trunk. The subconscious mind has no sense of humor, and people often joke themselves into unhappy experiences. So, negative sarcasm is not always the best thing to do. For example, a woman who had a great deal of money joked continually about getting ready for the poorhouse. In a few years, she was almost destitute, having impressed the subconscious mind with a picture of lack and limitation. Fortunately, the law works both ways, and a situation of lack may be changed into one of plenty. That's the lucky girl mentality. That right there is 100% true, right? Like this whole thing that's going on TikTok all over the place, like I'm so lucky, everything is always working out for me. A lot of spiritual people have these affirmations about wealth and riches. Like it's true. Like the more you say it, the more it will happen for you. And you just have to let yourself release resistance around the possibility that it could happen to you. I've done it multiple times. That's awesome. I've thought about this very thing recently. Of course. It's in the collective. Obviously, it's all over the internet. We want freedom. And what we see, what we perceive, what we allow ourselves to consume is completely what our reality becomes. Sounds like this book is pretty much about what people call law of attraction. Absolutely. This one was written a long time ago. I think it was maybe, I want to say one of the first ideas about this, but it was definitely an original. And I just love the way that she, especially later on in the book, how she gives examples for things. It makes it so easy for us to see what we're doing. But one major life change made me change how I think and focus on. That's wonderful, Lady Morgana. Okay, here we go. For example, so we just said, fortunately, the law works both ways, and a situation of lack may be changed into one of plenty. For example, a woman came to me one hot summer day for a treatment for prosperity. She was worn out, burnout, dejected, and discouraged. She said she possessed just $8 in the world. I said, good. We'll bless the $8 and multiply them as Jesus Christ multiplied the loaves and the fishes. For he taught that every man had the power to bless and to multiply, to heal and to prosper. She said, what shall I do next? I replied, follow intuition. Follow intuition. Have you a hunch to do anything or to go anywhere? Intuition means intuition, or just to be taught from within. It is man's unerring guide, and I will deal more fully with its law in a following chapter. So she goes into that a little bit later as well. Let me see how much. Okay, there's not too much left. The woman replied, I don't know. I seem to have a hunch to go home. I have just enough money for car fare. Her home was in a distant city and was one of lack and limitation, and the reasoning mind, or intellect, would have said, stay in New York and get work and make some money. I replied, then go home. Never violate a hunch. I think that's something that's been very difficult for us as a society, to rely on our intuition. Like, we've been taught that intelligence, facts, all of that is more important than intuition. And I think that's what we're getting back into, is relying more on our intuition. I spoke the following words for her. Infinite Spirit opened the way for great abundance for her name. She is an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to her by divine right. I freaking love that. I love that. So let's say that. Let's say that one right now together. Infinite Spirit, open the way for great abundance for me. I am an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right. That's a good one. I told her to repeat it continually also. She left for home immediately. In calling on a woman one day, she linked up with an old friend of her family. Through this friend, she received thousands of dollars in a most miraculous way. She has said to me often, tell people about the woman who came to you with $8 and a hunch. I'm an irresistible magnet. Yes. I love that. There is always plenty on man's pathway, but it can only be brought into manifestation through desire, faith, or the spoken word. So it's literally, how do we manifest? We say it, we think it, we feel it, we believe it. You have to have all of it. You can't just say it. You have to try to believe it. You have to try to feel it. You have to try for these things. And I think that's something that a lot of people mistake in this, is if you say something over and over, eventually you will believe it. Eventually you will take that on as your truth. But if you let yourself feel it, if you let yourself believe it, if you let yourself concentrate on that one thing over and over and over again, it will happen so much faster and so much easier for you. It's about the feeling and the belief. Jesus Christ brought out clearly that man must make the first move. Oh, action as well. Taking action. That's the other part of it. You have to take action with it. Because when you take the action in your feeling and your belief, whoo, universe puts so much energy behind that. Here's another verse. Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. That is from Matthew 7:7. Ask and it is given is right inside the Bible. I love it. In the scriptures we read, concerning the works of my hands, command ye me. Infinite intelligence, God, is ever ready to carry out man's smallest or greatest demands. Every desire uttered or expressed is a demand. We are often startled by having a wish suddenly fulfilled. For example, one Easter, having seen many beautiful rose trees in the florist's window, I wished I would have received one, and for an instant saw it mentally being carried in the door. Easter came, and with it a beautiful rose tree. I thanked my friend the following day and told her it was just what I had wanted. She replied, I didn't send you a rose tree, I sent you lilies. The man had mixed the order and sent me a rose tree simply because I had started the law in action, and I had to have a rose tree. Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart, but doubt and fear. When man can wish without worrying, every desire will be instantly fulfilled. But I feel like that's really hard for us, especially in, like I was saying, in our society. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear-based things. Is it on purpose? Maybe, but that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. They can only manipulate your mind and your existence to the degree that you are willing to allow. Let's see. I will explain more fully in a following chapter the scientific reason for this and how fear must be erased from the consciousness. It is man's only enemy. Fear of lack, fear of failure, fear of sickness, fear of loss, and a feeling of insecurity on some plane. Jesus Christ said, "Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith?" That's from Matthew 8:26. So we can see we must substitute fear, or we must substitute faith for fear. For fear is only inverted faith. It is faith in evil instead of good. Right? Or faith in fear instead of good. Or faith that some terrible thing will befall you rather than having faith that something good will happen. I really like that, actually. I like that perspective that, like, when you believe in fear, you're having faith in that. That's really interesting. I never really, that never clicked in for me the way it is right now. I have the book. What page are you on? I'm on page 13. Sugar. Sugar Rush. I like that. On page 13. Last paragraph. The object of the game of life is to see clearly one's good and to obliterate all mental pictures of evil or fear. That's usually what she means by that. This must be done by impressing the subconscious mind with a realization of good. A very brilliant man who has attained great success told me he had suddenly erased all fear from his consciousness by reading a sign which hung in a room. He saw printed in large letters this statement, "Why worry? It will probably never happen." Oh my God, I love that. Why worry? It'll probably never happen. That is so freaking true, though. I mean, think about it. All the things that you're afraid of, how many of them have actually come true? How many things that you've been worried about? How many things that you've been afraid about? How many of those have actually come true, come to pass? In my life, a very, very small percentage of the things that I was afraid of actually happened. But we're so quick to gravitate towards that as truth. Oh, one time I worried about something and it actually happened, so I got to make sure. I got to make sure that I'm worried about it, because if I'm not worried about it, then it might happen. But how many things have happened in your life that turned out really good? instead. And you actually probably didn't have that much faith about that. It says, these words were stamped indelibly upon his subconscious mind, and he has now a firm conviction that only good can come into his life, therefore only good can manifest. Wouldn't that be wonderful, man? Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could just have our entire subconscious only believe in the good happening to us and just like not believe at all in fear? Wow. A lot of things I've been scared of has come true, but I'm glad because I have less fear now. Well, I think sometimes it's our attention to that, our attention to the fear of that thing happening. Something that I always do that I feel like is helpful is whenever you're afraid of something or whenever you're worried about something that's going to happen, if you can try to figure out what is the worst case scenario with that, and then somehow try to become peaceful with that particular scenario, the likelihood of worst case scenario happening is very minimal, if at all. And so anything that happens above that, you've already made peace with the worst case scenario. So anything after that is going to be like a breath of fresh air or so much better compared. Anyway, that's my own personal experience. In the following chapter, I will deal with the different methods of impressing the subconscious mind. It is man's faithful servant, but one must be careful to give it the right or aligned orders. Man has ever a silent listener at his side, his subconscious mind. Every thought, every word is impressed upon it and carried out in amazing detail. It is like a singer making a record on a sensitive disc of the phonographic plate. I have no idea what she's talking about here. I'm guessing it's like one of those record player thingies that they used to have. Anyway, I guess it would be more like if your phone was recording at all times, right? That's our equivalent. Every note and tone of the singer's voice is registered. If he coughs or hesitates, it is also registered. So let us break all the old bad records in the subconscious mind, the records of our lives which we do not wish to keep, and make new and beautiful ones. So delete all the files that are no longer serving. All of the recordings, all of the videos, all of the pictures, everything that is of fear and pain, get rid of it. Hi, Patience. It's gray and chilly. Yeah, it's a little cold here too. Okay, we're almost done here. Speak these words aloud with power and conviction. Ooh, okay, so this is advice for us to get rid of all this stuff in our head or our subconscious. So if you want to join in, I'll go slow so that everybody can follow along. Speak these words aloud with power and conviction. So we're going to speak these with power and conviction. I now smash and demolish. I now smash and demolish by my spoken word, every untrue recording in my subconscious mind. Every untrue recording in my subconscious mind. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness. For they come from my own vain imagination. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within. The records of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. The records of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Ooh, thank you, Spirit. This is the square of life, the game completed. In the following chapters, I will show how man can change his conditions by changing his words. Any man who does not know the power of the word is behind the times. Here's another Bible verse. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Woo! Proverbs 18:21. And that is the end of chapter 1. So that is basically the game. She's just explaining to us that we have the power when we speak it. Oh, I love that. My lights just flickered right after saying this with you. I love that. I love that. So I feel like people really underestimate how powerful your words are. Speaking something into existence, speaking something out into the universe is so powerful. It's so powerful. Like, your words have way more power than you think, because your subconscious is always listening. If you think of it as like a little kid who's standing next to you and just like absorbing everything that you say and taking it on as truth. Something that I used to do a lot was I would catch myself. So we have things that we say all the time that it's just normal for us to say some negative things or say things that we don't necessarily believe or want to believe. But it's like you can catch that and bring it back in and replace it with the good things. So, for instance, if we said like, oh, I really hope that happens. I know that's going to happen. I'm lucky. I'm wealthy. I'm happy. I'm healthy. All of whatever it is. Like, so just don't even be like, shoot, because that's a judgment. Try not to judge yourself for these natural thought patterns that you have that are already in place. Try to allow yourself to just change it. Just be like, that's okay. I don't believe that anymore, and I'm just going to change it. Ooh, speak into your morning coffee. Wow, I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that, Lady Morgana. I am definitely going to be doing that. I drink coffee and water all day long, so I will be doing that to both. Putting intentions into that is such a great thing too, because honestly, water has memory, liquid has memory. Honestly, any physical thing that you have has memory. A crystal, you can intend into a crystal, you can intend into your water, you can intend into your food. Everything that you consume is for sure something that you can have influence on in your subconscious. And just because your conscious mind doesn't believe it, you have to remember, and I love that the book is kind of giving me this, and all of us too. Your subconscious is still listening. Even if your conscious mind doesn't believe it, when you speak it out as truth, your subconscious is still believing. Your subconscious is drinking the water. Your subconscious is drinking the coffee. Your subconscious is eating the food. Your subconscious is watching the news. Your subconscious is having that conversation always with you. I always speak gratitude into my food. I think of all that's connected and the life that it gives. I love that. I really need to start doing that more. I really do. Maybe that's why they say grace. Oh, I bet you it is. I hadn't thought of that either. I'm going to start doing that too. I've been practicing this for the past 2 years. Water, food, thoughts. That's wonderful, Sarah. Epiphany, yep. But like, seriously, it's like, I think the thing that's a bit frustrating at times for me is like literally how close Christianity has it. Like, they're so close to it. They're so close to seeing what it is. It's just because the fear-based part of the teaching is in there too. It's like the fear is seductive. We always want to turn our heads to where we need to be afraid. Where am I in danger? Where do I need to protect myself? But the thing is that you got to understand, you're always protected by non-physical energy. You're always protected by the universe. You don't actually have to assert protection onto yourself or from other people. And because we're so focused in fear, we don't have time to see where the joy is. We don't have time to see where the love is. We don't have time to see where the adventure is, where the excitement is. I mean, think about it. Anybody who is a truly adventurous person, people that go out there and climb mountains, they go out there and they climb things, they dive off of things, like jump out of planes, whatever. Those people don't have the same level of fear that people do when they stay inside. It's like when you stay closed off, you open yourself up to fear and worry, for change, for uncomfortability, for pain. But pain is guaranteed. So why not choose what that is? I feel like we could even choose that. I think those people do. And so they know what's coming and they're fine with it. They're still having a good time anyway. It's been picked apart and put back in over here for the agenda of those who want control. Exactly. It's kind of sad, but I think if you read it, you can read between the lines, basically, to get the teachings, to get an understanding of what it is. But it's really about the fear. If they could let go of the fear, they would see the blessings inside. This is The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. If you want to buy it, I think it's on Amazon for pretty cheap. But it is for free on YouTube. There's a woman who does the audio version of it, which is how I was introduced to it. But she doesn't read the entire book. She does read most of it, though. You guys are welcome. Thank you for coming and participating and offering conversation and just being receptive. Honestly, I really you should do an affiliate link for your bio. I should, shouldn't I? I'm trying to figure out the Amazon thing. But I'll get into that too. That's a good idea. But yeah, so this was a lot of fun, and I am really looking forward to doing it again next week. This was reading enlightening. Seriously appreciate this. Needed to hear all of this today. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Every Sunday. Yay, Rebecca! Yep, so that's my goal. My goal is to start, 1 o'clock seems pretty good for me. I was starting at about 1 o'clock. Might move it to 2 depending on what's happening. Eastern time, of course. And starting with the channeling, it's not always going to be just Michael, Gabriel, and Jesus. I think there's going to be others that come through too, which is going to be fun. And then reading from this book or other books, depending on what it is. And if you guys have any suggestions about books that would be an interesting read for us on Sunday, I would be more than happy to hear suggestions. Absolutely. So if you guys have any of that, you can email me or message me in the TikTok. More than welcome. Saved in my calendar. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yay, Heather. You're going to join too? Awesome, Kara. I'm glad that this helped you a lot. That was my goal. But the Book of Ra. Oh, I knew it. Okay, so I have been really, whoa. the curtain that's covering the window here just moved when I was thinking about this. So Egyptian gods have been something that have been on my mind, and a few of them have been coming to me to channel. I've channeled Horus, and then another one, and I don't know what their name was. They wanted to stay anonymous for whatever reason, probably just because I don't have enough in my card catalog for them to be able to express exactly who they are to me. So definitely I'm gonna be getting into more of the Egyptian gods and goddesses. I mean, it's like the most ancient recorded religion, complicated religion that we know of. And of course, you know, why not go to the horse's mouth? So that will be coming as well, I'm sure, in time. So this is the part of the live where I just kind of open it up to anything you guys wanted to talk about, any questions that you may have before we end it. Horus's mouth. I feel like I didn't get that joke. The Bible was written from the pyramid artwork. Really? Ever look into Sumerian gods? I have not, Arwen. That's a good suggestion too. Look at this. I gotta get my notebook here. You know, I'm gonna get this one. This guy will do it. Oh, horse's mouth, right. Ha ha ha, that's funny. Now I got it. Wow. That really just, sorry Melissa, that went right over my head. Wow. Sorry about that. Sumerian gods. I'm gonna look into that. Sumerian gods. Sugar, thank you so much. I love and appreciate the way you share your gifts. Your expression is clear and always expanding. Absolutely. I am the first one to say that I know enough to know I don't know anything at all, and I am just a student of non-physical, trying to help others learn what I've learned up to this point anyway. Love you dearly too, Patience. They're very ancient too. Yeah, I should look into that as well. Oh, thank you for the kite. I love the book, but the story about the girl manifesting her husband's life, I think she was so connected she remembered she was going to endure that. It's possible, but I think the other aspect of this is that she manifested someone into her life that would happen too. So she chose that type of experience, whereas she may not have had to choose that. Or it could have been somebody that she was meant to experience that with. I think maybe it's a combination of the two, Sarah. All of it is way more complicated than we can really understand, truly. And so I very much hesitate to close off any possibility for what it could be. And I really do believe that it's the two things working together. Was she destined to have somebody like that in her life? Probably. Was it her choice to have that person in her life? Absolutely. She could have chosen not to, but because she impressed upon her subconscious this type of existence for such a long time, it was going to happen. I always say I know a little bit of a little bit. No one knows everything. This world holds many mysteries. Absolutely, I agree. They are before Egypt, if I recall. Yes, sweetheart. The Sumerians came, like that was the first true civilization, I think. Gotta Hop off and get ready for a live sale. Love you, Melissa. Have fun. Patience, thank you so much for the garland. If you have anything, I agree with both of that. Awesome, Sarah. Gaia definitely has some interesting stuff. I agree with that. I got to get back into watching Gaia TV. Cradle of Life, Mesopotamia, right? There was that one too. But I think it's like recorded religion, so like written religion. I think the Egyptians had the most complicated version of that, but I would be interested to look into Sumerian guides as well. I add enough to get into trouble. That's a good one, Glenn. That's a good one. Yeah, so I'm going to be looking into that stuff and seeing. So, all right, just so you guys know, I can give you guys a little bit of foreshadowing. So next week, we're going to be reading chapter 2, which is the Law of Prosperity. I should be able to get through that whole chapter because there's not that many. It's 15 to 20. So I think it's like 5 pages, 6 pages. Yeah, that should be good. This chapter was a little bit longer. I think this one was, no, about 7. Okay, so it's about the same amount. We should be able to do it. We should be able to do it. I've got to go as well, but thank you. This has been an aligned morning for me. Love your energy. Sarah, thank you so much for stopping in and hanging out and offering lovely conversation. And hopefully I will see you again on some Sunday or evening when I'm doing readings, because typically in the evening time is when I do the readings. But I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. Thank you so much for such a wonderful afternoon and morning, and just lovely conversation and yeah. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. I know I'm going to have a great day. This is such good energy to just be like going off for the rest of the week with. And I hope that that's something that happens with you guys, that you guys can take this energy and carry it through the rest of your week. And then we will re-energize again next week. I'll admit my views/opinions are quite different from yours, but I still enjoy hanging out. Absolutely. Everybody is 100% welcome here. Even if you have different views and opinions, I do not shy away from that. Everybody is more than welcome to believe whatever it is that they believe in. I don't see anything wrong with anything. I don't believe in wrong and right. I just have my perspective, you have your perspective, and I think it's important to have different perspectives, especially with this many people living on Earth and the wide range of people experiences. So it's definitely very important. So I appreciate you hanging out in my lives and coming in and offering your opinion as well. You have a great afternoon. I was listening but cooking at the same time. Glenn, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for sharing this with us. I definitely feel energized. Yay, Kara. Thank you, Arwen. You are awesome too. So thank you guys again. So much love to everybody. Make sure that you guys do cord cuttings, groundings as you feel called to do. And I will see you guys either later on tonight, this week, or next week. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. Much love. Thank you.